21-year-old Mo goes first. When the revolution began in March 2011, he posted his support on Facebook and quickly ended up in prison. Then it's 27-year-old Abaida's turn. After being wounded by a shell in his home in Idlib in 2013, he decided to leave Syria. Salim is last. Aged 32, she has 2 children. In 2011, her husband was arrested and tortured to death for taking part in anti-regime protests. Her village is bombed frequently. Mo's turn. After a year in prison, he's finally released and immediately gets on a plane to Egypt. But the casual work he finds is barely enough to cover the rent for the room he sleeps in. Now in Turkey, Abaida's going to attempt the crossing from Izmir to Greece. He pays $850 to board a small inflatable boat that has 43 other passengers. There's no room for discussion. The smuggler is armed. Salim flees from the bombing and enters Turkey, where she too decides to take her 2 children across the Aegean Sea. They land on the island of Lesbos. But while at sea, Salim loses the drugs she needs to take every day to treat her heart condition. Mo, in Egypt, sees trying his luck in Europe as the only way to make a decent life for himself. He gets to Libya and, along with 45 other people, he boards a wooden fishing vessel. Abaida is less than an hour away from the Turkish coast when a boat approaches. The Coast Guard? No. A group of men dressed in black who destroy the boat's engine before taking off again. Salim takes the ferry from Lesbos to Athens and then travels through Macedonia and Serbia to Hungary. While waiting for a train to Vienna, someone steals her phone and €200. But she has no choice. They have to keep going. Mo arrives in Italy and is met by the police. After a month in prison, the authorities force him to apply for asylum before letting him go in a field in the middle of nowhere. Abaida's boat starts taking in water. Panicked, the passengers transmit their GPS coordinates to the Greek Coast Guard. But they're still in Turkish waters, so it's the Turks who turn up and take them back to where they'd left from. Abaida spends 10 days in a detention centre before being released with a document that gives him 1 month to leave the country. Salim arrives in Calais, where doctors give her the medication she needs to treat her heart condition. While waiting to be able to join her father in the UK, she and her children live in a tent in the jungle camp. Released, Mo leaves Italy for France and then Germany, where he can apply for asylum without being deported back to Italy. He lives in a camp while waiting for the response to his application, but he's not allowed to work. Abaida decides to try his luck again and pays $1,000 for another crossing. But yet again he fails. His boat is intercepted by the Turkish police. He manages to escape and returns in despair to Idlib in Syria. Mo, Abaida and Salim are just 3 of the 4,600,000 refugees forced to flee Syria since the beginning of the war. In January 2016 alone, 368 migrants died at sea. But as the country becomes even more mired in conflict, taking to the road is for many the only choice, however arduous it may be.